the efforts of the government, because it was in 2017 that the Atlantic Pilot Immigration Program came on board. Mm-hmm. And through that, New Brunswick has been able to attract a lot of talent.
Beauté!
Ekabo.
Maïga, bonjour, bienvenue sur Qu'est-ce qu'on mange à midi. Welcome at What Do We Eat at Lunch, a podcast where we talk and discuss with guests and between us about life experiences as students in the workplace, but also in business, because we believe that the decision that we take today are going to affect what we're gonna eat at lunch tomorrow, simply on our lives. Welcome back for another episode, and we are really happy to have Olaitan here today. Welcome, Olaitan. It's really a pleasure to have you. So can you quickly introduce yourself, like what you do right now and some of the hats that you carry, so that people get to know you?
Thanks for having me here again. My name is Olaitan Onyebuoha. I am the CEO of 7th Laurel Immigration Consulting, the founder of Oakridge Consulting, and co-founder of Black Business and Professional Network, current serving volunteer president of the same Black professional and business organization here in New Brunswick, Canada. It's nice to be here today, and thank you for having me one more time.
Thank you, my tribute. So today we want to have you to talk about the importance of building bridges in our immigrant community, because one of the things that made us start the podcast was just the concept and kind of just seeing between us, we were all having that discussion between us and even with people that we know, and seeing that there's a huge gap between the immigrants that have been here before and the new ones that are coming. And we just reached a place where we don't want the people and new people that are coming to make the same mistakes or, kind of go through the same struggling path that other people have been before, simply because they didn't have the right information, because information is really key in life. So we are doing this podcast to share the information for immigrants so that you have the right information that will set you up for success in your journey, wherever you go after that. But we really it's our part of the legacy that we are building and living for generation that we're coming after us. So can you talk a bit about the Black Business and Professional Network? Where did that start? What was the idea behind it? Because I feel like that it's really pointing to that importance of building bridges in the community.
Thank you for that question and for the overview around the need to build bridges. So BBPN, as a large Black volunteer organization, was birthed because of the need to have a community, a platform that exists for people that look like us, that feel so comfortable in their skin, come through in a room where nobody is judged, in a situation where, some days it is very tough being Black, right? And then you have to navigate a space around like professional life or business life. Research has shown that an average Black business person, struggle more than other immigrants. So given that is a given, so we need to put in more effort. And sometimes you might not have everything all covered. But when you go into a space where you have somebody going through a similar, or somebody that has gone through a similar challenges and how the person navigates, that information alone is useful to motivating or giving you the next direction. Yeah. So that's why BBPN was established in 2020 as an idea. Okay. Prior to that time, I graduated from the MBA program, which is entrepreneurship and technology driven. And I started my business in 2016, which didn't really start in 2017 as a sole proprietor, a side hustler, but the access to funding, ability to set up, legal structure, everything. It was very tough to find that information online. You can search Google. Now, Google will bring different information as it exists in one province versus the other province. But when you look inward into your own province, it becomes challenging because you've not seen an average Black who are taking on that pathway. And even if you see the research backing such situation are really not available. The closest you can find would be like Nova Scotia. And the process, the province of Nova Scotia would have some things they do differently than the province of New Brunswick.
Yeah.
And I will speak to a business of another immigrant, a Nigerian, who went into fashion to establish point on that the struggle is the same that I am struggling with. So it's not just me now. It's not just unique to me. There are certain persons. So we struggled for the first 5 years of my business. It was just like I had to use my fund, my own salary, to support that business. And at a point in time, we also read, when I was doing my research, I also saw that at certain points, a certain Black business doesn't go beyond the 5-year period. They close up. And I say, I don't want to be a statistics to that kind of business. Coincidentally, by 2020, which means I had done 4 years of the business, the idea just popped. And the idea popped on the 7th of September, 2020, when one of our friends invited us to the Black History Society office in St. John. And we were there talking. After that time, the Syrian refugee people had been settled in Canada. And we've seen how things changed for them quickly because they had a community and they were able to come up with some ideas and they became established. And we see them thriving. So I was using that analogy on the 7th of September at the Black History Society space, uptown St. John. I told my friend, I said, hey, people, have you noticed that the Syrian refugees set of people that came in XYZ period, they are really thriving. They have a community. They have business. In fact, I shopped from one of their business yesterday. What about we Blacks having like a professional and business platform or a community where we get to share and support one another? And they were like, well, we're waiting for who is going to take that on. We went on like business as usual. 2 days later, the Prime Minister, and it was COVID period. So the every morning, the Prime Minister, I think around 11:30, 12, the Prime Minister speaks and we're all watching from Facebook Live. So he had that conversation and he talked about the fund that the federal government has released for Black organizations that is going to be administered through FACE, I think Group Transit, some organizations, right? So I was like, wow. So they now mentioned something that literally made me jump out of my table, which was BBI too was part of the organization, BBI Nova Scotia. And I've been researching about BBI before that day. So when I was at BBI, Black Business Initiative, if they have done something like this, then BBPN. What about New Brunswick? So I did. The name was not there. I should do something like this. I just picked up my phone. I started calling friends. Guys, remember 2 days ago we had this discussion. What about it? I was like, there is a phone. We can tap into that. We can help. We're like, Olaitan, let's talk later. I'm at work. I waited. After work, I called them again. I said, guys, we have to do this. They were like, okay, if you're ready, we know you don't back down until. So they now supported me. We were like 5, 6. We came together. I sent email. We later became 7. We started having meetings. We started talking about the model for Black Business Initiative in Nova Scotia, how they started, the things they did. So subsequent meetings led us to how we want to set up, the structure we want to embrace. And by April 2021, we became incorporated as Black Business and Professional Network. So this journey of BBPN started with 11 co-founders from Cameroon, from Liberia, from Jamaica, from Nigeria. So it's not just a Nigerian organization. We are Black, where we are not affiliated with any political or any faith-based, but we are all Blacks. We come to this platform to support one another. And since then, the journey was really stressful, discouraging. However, we had something that got us going. That was the need to make a change and the need to impact our community. So, yeah, that's why we are here today.
Wow. It's really so nice. Like
Thank you.
Nice journey.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What were like the challenges you faced like in your journey with BBL?
There was this challenge that really gave me the huge push to say, if this is what we are experiencing, even before we are incorporated, we should see the reality that it's not going to be easy. There was a time, following the model of BBI, there was BBI actually, I think they really worked with the Chamber of Commerce in Halifax a lot. So we had to try to go through that approach. And at one point, we were pitching to someone, and we have not finished pitching. The person just stopped us and said, hey, we really don't have that space to have, for Blacks right now, that the organization is not built around that. So in essence, they cannot help us. It was tough with us because, at least sometimes when you go out there to pitch, you even be given that respect to just say, let's just allow this person finish. It wasn't our own experience. So we were stopped and we moved on. So we now went back to the table and we asked ourselves, how can we do things differently? We first of all had to pull resources together amongst ourselves. So we donated to the cause. And then we look at whoever has time to put in, let's keep putting in. So that's where because I really have this flair for research. I love doing research. I put in tons of time, in researching opportunities, grants, programming that could help. Coincidentally, we drew up a program. So we were able to pitch first time to Canadian Race Relations Foundation. Having incorporated in April, we couldn't do much because we also don't know how non-for-profit organizations operate, how they are formed, the legal structure, so many things that we need to know in terms of mentorship. And we're all working 9 to 5. So the struggle was really there with timing. By the time we want to come back to work to say, let's pick up a phone to call somebody, the day was already over. So we're just doing everything in bits and pieces. But by the end of 2021, that day I got wind of a particular project and I connected with somebody. There is also a power of connection. LinkedIn connection. Yes. So I had connected with a Black leader and elder from Nova Scotia through Battle of the Art New Brunswick program during Black History Month, February 2021, Sir Andrew. So when I went on that program, we talked about what we're trying to do. That elder now said, you know what, reach out to me. I have some ideas for you. So it was through that person that we're able to connect with Canadian Race Relations Foundation to even have the opportunity to tell them about what we do. So fast forward, we were able to get at least the first encouragement, support from Canadian Race Relations Foundation, and we launched we had to inaugurate in December of 2021. So since then, we've been gradually moving at a snail pace. But thankfully today, that journey is what it is today in terms of our success story about how we've been able to raise over 50,000 in grants for all the programs we have done because we persevere and we never back down. Even when we had the opportunity before we incorporated at all, when people said, no, there is no plan for us, we kept on doing what we could do. And thankfully, we are at a point where we know that there is need for us to stay and we continue to contribute and keep our platform open for people because we've been able to connect a lot of people with opportunities even outside of Canada, like global opportunities that has literally yielded valuable partnership and alliances with organizations out there. We've been able to get scholarships for our students here in New Brunswick, and some of them are going to be attending a life-changing program this summer. And we've been able to also, get into spaces where, we're building a curriculum for the youth right now. So the journey was not easy, but I can say with the determination that we want to bring service above ourselves first. That helped us a lot.
That's good.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I just want to jump on that from your journey as an immigrant here in New Brunswick, and what do you see in terms of community? Because I feel like from what I'm seeing since I've arrived here, having been in school and even the workplace, there's a lot of opportunities. But sometimes when you speak to people, often they're like, okay, no, I'm graduating and I'm going to Toronto and I'm just going outside because I don't feel like there's something from me here. I don't feel like there's something I can do or I can contribute in a certain way. But I feel like, in Montreal, I might find better thing. But for me, when I look at it, I'm like, guys, you have no idea what untapped potential is here. So, but I think what's missing there, it's kind of that building of, okay, because you also mentioned that when you were researching, you were finding many things from other provinces. So how can we do as an immigrant community, as immigrants, to kind of build first our tribe around us that will help us access the information that we need to whatever the project you're working on or whatever you need. So how can we work on that as a community?
Right. So I just want people to know that as much as it's good to chase greener pastures, like then and now. Oh, let me first start by saying that when we came as immigrants, like I arrived there 2014, things were not as it is today. And I can say that there has been progressive change and improvement to what it was in 2014 till date. And as an immigration consultant as well, I can also see the efforts of the government, because it was in 2017 that the Atlantic Pilot Immigration Program came on board. And through that, New Brunswick has been able to attract a lot of talent, economic immigrants into this region. And I also would not dispute what you said in terms of people leaving for the big city. And if everybody watching this today is thinking of that, then who else is going to remain here? Do you understand? The goal is to also understand yourself and tell yourself, I can make it work, depending on what, your first intention was actually in the first place when you are coming to New Brunswick. As much as there are opportunities in the big cities, I also want you to cast your mind down to the big city was never made overnight. It took people to develop and build the capacity that you are traveling there to go and tap into.
Exactly.
What if the situation that happened, like maybe in Alberta that time, because a lot of people were also living prior to 2014 in our sets, like our MBA sets and other people were the first set to at least stayed, like from the, because something happened in Alberta that people started losing their job and they started coming towards Atlantic again. So what if you choose to leave today to the big city and you have to find yourself back here, to start all over again? Why can't you just give it a shot here and see where the opportunity lies for yourself? This is a challenge and like a rhetorical question I want to put out there. Now, coming back to talk about opportunities and how you can tap into opportunities. When BBPN started, we had a goal and we still have that goal and objective to be that platform wherein you can come through, share your needs with us, and we'll be able to connect you with opportunities. And we have been doing that even though with limited resources that we pull together amongst ourselves, regardless of the fact that we're working 9 to 5. We're all volunteer-led. Nobody gets paid. When we discover such opportunity, we rally around and share the information as much as possible. And thankfully, over the past weeks, we've also looked out there into the Francophone community to be able to connect our information to them so that they can also share, and it becomes a massive information that is going around. The difference between success and failure is information. When you lack information, chances are you're going to make certain decisions on the balance of probability that you have a little information to act on. That being said, I would recommend that if you really, really love, because come to think of it, New Brunswick is, I've traveled, I've gone to other provinces and I've seen the difference between living in New Brunswick and living out there. When it comes to commuting, value system and all that, congestion, New Brunswick has all that it has to give to us. And there are opportunities to out there. Our own challenge is, how do we take them? How do we build a business needs to say, hey, this opportunity also can come to our community of Black? How connected are all the Black organizations in this province are to be able to know that there is an opportunity in this Black organization that can go to the other organization? I will just conclude by saying that if anybody out there does thinks that there are no opportunities and all that, please give it a try and dig deep. Find your tribe, find Black organizations that are around you, community, multicultural, and check through first before you take that leap. It is only when you've exhausted your opportunity and you can't find that you can move out there. And I also can tell that the government of the economy of Canada is also thrives on entrepreneurship and owning a business. So as a professional also, you can be thinking of your 9 to 5 and also think about an idea, a novel idea that you have that can change your world, and you can start building around it. Canada would empower you to thrive. Before this interview, I was talking to my friends about some opportunities that are out there that people that are working 9 to 5 can tap into on the side. As a matter of fact, there is a grant for you if you're a 9 to 5er. So those are typical opportunities, that you can tap into. The question is, are you looking at the right place to find those opportunities? And if you've looked, you've searched, and you cannot find, please feel free to reach out to organizations around you that could help. We are here to help, to listen, because we also were working with the Atlantic Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, by extension, the Federal Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub that is housed in Carleton University, to continue to gather information that puts us in New Brunswick on the map, for them to be able to know what our needs are, what are the challenges as a Black professional, as a Black business person, what are the needs that they would be able to know that we're struggling with, that they can also walk through the policymakers to make changes. So we're all part of the change. We cannot sit and say, oh, there's no opportunity here, let me just go. If you're already connected to New Brunswick, I would just enjoin you to find that tribe, the people that can really listen to you, genuinely, not selfishly, because some people want to listen to your idea and they take it elsewhere. I tell people, find your tribe. Because when you find your tribe, something will connect and you feel comfortable to share. And even if you want to share, I will also still recommend you put another step towards protecting yourself, a non-disclosure agreement. Go with your NDA. Any organization that does not want to sign the NDA, or, in terms of your idea, I think you might want to think twice before you continue to share your idea. Ideally, people are meant to take your idea and treat it with the utmost confidentiality. That's what the law requires. But if maybe somebody has been discouraging you, oh, I've been beaten once, I don't go there, don't do this, you can't continue to listen on what people are telling you. Try it out for yourself and protect yourself as much as you can. But if you don't feel compelled enough to continue with that person, find another opportunity or environment. But until you try all the opportunities, all the avenues open to you, it is very wrong to assume that there are no opportunities in New Brunswick. I hope I addressed that.
So anything you want to add there? No?
Yes. So I was thinking, like, when you mentioned, like, we are talking, well, the podcast is here, like, to build, like, the bridges between, like, the community. So what is the action, like the practical action you do, like, to help, like, to build this, to contribute to build this community, like, in New Brunswick?
What I do myself is, like, I'm a networker. Like, I love to network a lot. And when I do that, I don't do it blindly for myself alone. I understand my strengths and I know the strength of others. And I always recognize the strength of others. And when I'm in a room networking and I realize that this is not something I can do, and I already know somebody that has that skill set, what I always do is to put the name of the person across. Because we rise by lifting others. It's not just a word you read and you walk away from it.
No.
Let's just take exactly, because if you don't do that, you continue to be the successful one in the room. There is an adage in my culture that says a rich man in the multitude of poor people is a poor person himself. Yes. Yeah, there's an adage.
Can you say that again, please? No. You need to say it again.
Yeah. I just interpreted it from Yoruba to that, but that's what it means. Like a rich or even a wealthy man, right? In the midst of multitude of poor people, is a poor man himself, because guess what? Those poor people will come knocking every day. Give me $5, you give them. Give me $5, you give them. Give me. Why can't you teach them how to fish? Do you understand? So it's also the adage that says, teach me how to fish, don't give me the fish, kind of. So that's what I do. That's first thing I do. If I go any places and I realize that, oh, I am saying this and there's an opportunity, I put the name of somebody that I know that has done that thing before and has got a high integrity in terms of delivery. I put it there. That's one thing. Always look out for your tribe that does something far better than you are and try to network or partner. not as competitor, but as a collaborator. The moment we start thinking of the mindset of collaboration, when we go to places where we can stand in rooms all together, and you are not scared, you are not afraid, you're not thinking somebody is going to take my shine. We all need to shine together. And when we shine together, the sky is going to be so farther and wider for all of us to fly elderly, not just to fly. When sometimes there are some relationships that are just, but there are some elder relationships that that my friend is rooting for me anyway, and that's what I do. And I tell people, when you go into a room and you cannot tell yourself the honest truth in terms of, hey, I agree with you to a certain extent, but because of my value, I do not agree with you on this. And the person does not respect your value and make you an enemy. You need to think twice about that environment. So coming back to your question, how do we build bridges? Building bridges is also knowing yourself, who you are, what are your value system, what do you set out to do? And when you know yourself, when you know your value, it helps you in the situation of networking. Remember I said I network a lot. In the situation of networking, when you talk to one or two persons and you start understanding what drives that person, it helps you to know, is this the right person I want to work with on this project? And if not, who else am I going to start looking for?
So that's beautiful. The last thing I want us to address is as we're building the Black community, as we are building bridges in between the immigrants that have been here before and the ones that are coming. One thing that's really important for me, and I think so we also share that, it's empowering the next generation, because we might set ourselves up for success, but how do we ensure that the children that are either first generation of immigrants or who have been here before, and that maybe saw the struggles that your parents went through, are setting themselves up for success, knowing that, their parents went through certain struggles to give them a better future. So can you speak a bit about what BBPN is doing in line of that?
Yeah, prior to, it's even a good thing to know that we're in the Black History Month, and the theme for this year is Black Excellence, which is a heritage to celebrate and a future to build. So building on the future means that we're empowering the youth. So prior to now, we've been able to at least connect with organizations that are fostering empowerment and capacity building for youth. One of them is Pure Gold Foundation.
Shout out to Faith.
We also have Battle of the Heart, New Brunswick. Sir Andrew is also leading a lot of projects that is, giving the youth the ability to hone their shine, to hone the platform in the area of arts, culture, and, music. So they're doing a great job. And thankfully, last year, the Battle of the Heart, New Brunswick and Pure Gold Foundation with BBPN, we literally connected with SHAD Canada, and we're able to get at least scholarship to get some Black youth to attend SHAD this year. And that scholarship was funded to, I think, over 10,000 CAD.
What's the SHAD program? Just for people.
SHAD Canada program is a program for youth in grade 10 and 11 to give them opportunity to explore and discover their environment in a way that they have never been opened up to. So it empowers these people that are looking to navigate STEM, arts, and entrepreneurship to attend a camp for 1 month in any university of their choice in Canada. But most times, there are certain universities under the SHAD program though. If I choose to attend a university outside of my province, maybe I might have to contribute to the cost of transporting myself there. But you're going to live on campus, eat your food, do everything, meet friends, and at the same time, learn certain life skills and get into some spaces where you can discover your potential and innovation. I was opportune to attend the UNB SHAD program last summer, and wow, I was blown away with what the attendees, the program participants, the students, they were actually exposed to in terms of learning, in terms of critical, innovative ideas. So things like that will open up the pathway that would help the youth to say, okay, as I'm going into the university, I've already discovered my path. I have certain mentors, or maybe the SHAD alumni who are mentoring us to explain and let us know how their journey has been, so they can decide for themselves. And there are a lot of SHAD alumni that are making exploits across all universities in Canada right now. So that's what the SHAD is all about, to discover the youth potential and help them to build that capacity so that when they enter into the college or university, they already have a clear idea of where they are going and what they want to be in future. Back to the other program we just completed recently that was funded by Canadian Race Relations Foundation. We call it Empower New Brunswick Youth Summit. It's going to be an annual project going forward. We just concluded the first one that happened Friday, 23rd and 24th. Our goal is to ensure that youth come into a room to talk about their challenges, what is holding them back, from going through what they love to do. That could also be an innovation to our world and community. And thankfully, there were so many youth that came through these past days. They talk about their challenges, and we're able to see mentors in the room that tells us that, you know what, we're going to take this youth on, we're going to empower them. In fact, some of the youth won some cash prizes, for delivering on the task they were given. Those are the critical things that might be lessons they cannot learn from their immediate environment called home under their parent, but they will learn it from other mentors. We've seen youth that said, you know what, with this program now, we're going to start our podcast that we've been delaying to have, and thankfully we have another mentor that says, you know what, we will support you. We have other mentors that want to be an athlete, right? We talked about how we're going to connect them with organizations that is already involved in athletic events merged with coding. So those are the things we want to build for our youth, so that this generation that is tech savvy, they will not just walk through the gaming side of things. They will also carry some soft skills and some other passion that they can also monetize, or they can also use to deliver social impact to their community. So that's what BBPN is trying to do. And subsequently, we're going to be connecting to have some seminars and citywide, maybe weekend programming for the youth and even for the business people and professionals in our community.
Wow, that's really great.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's really important from the conversation that we had. I think, again, it's really important, like our environment, the people we surround ourselves with, find your tribe, find your good tribe, make sure that, you have people around you that you can trust, and, you kind of build the trust. You build a trust where you can share information with people, have the confidence, and not feel like, oh, this person is doing better than me. Because something Olaitan mentioned offline before we start is that you always need to go in a place, like have people around you that are better than you to inspire you. Because if you are just surrounded by people who are like the same level, you will never know how far you can go. And it's really important also to make sure that, we are setting our youths up for success and make sure that we are also contributing to building a legacy for them after that. Because if they see us do that, I believe they will also grow up with having the same mentality of, I want to give back to my community and also contribute. So thanks, Olaitan, for sharing that. It was really, again, a pleasure to have you. Please, guys, connect with the BBPN. They have some amazing program they're running and that they will continue to run. And we wish success to BBPN. And we also, again, we're going to share all the links to BBPN platform. If you are a Black professional in New Brunswick and you need some advice, maybe some mentorship, maybe you don't even know where to start, just reach out to them. They will provide you with some information that you need and put you in contact with either funding or just relationship or network as needed. If you arrive here, please, just share in the comments your journey as well. And in the meantime, what do we say? Bon appétit!